Could need help staying awake again.
I will call this special city council meeting of the City of International Falls to order. The purpose of this meeting is to approve contracts for our summer construction. Our first item on the agenda is our approving of the second and final reading of contract ordinance 983 for MSAS 2nd Avenue and 7th Street project, accepting the low bid of $2,517,250.80 from KGM Contractors. Chair would entertain a motion to approve that contract ordinance. We have a motion by Councillor Buller.
I'll second.
We have a second by Councillor Kaler. Any discussion? Public Works Director, do you have anything to add on any of these? Nope. Okay. So we have a motion and a second, no discussion. I will call the question.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
And I'll vote yes, motion carries 5-0. Next, we have the second and final reading of contract ordinance 984 for the 2023 utility and 2023 local streets project, accepting the low bid of $1,023,077 even from KGM Contractors. Chair would entertain a motion to approve that contract ordinance.
Move to approve.
We have a motion by Councillor Buller.
Second.
Second by Councillor Wegner. Discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
And I will vote yes, motion carries 5-0. Next, we have the resolution before us is approving the municipal state aid street funds in advance. Public Works Director, do you want to come and talk to us about how much we're encumbering and why you made that decision?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This has been a long time coming. We talked about this in 2021 to be able to pull this project off. We are allowed to encumber 5 years in advance for our municipal state aid money, which is just shy of $380,000 a year. So we have 2 years. We haven't used any MSA money in 21 or 22, 22 and 23. And we're going to, I recommend we encumber 5 years ahead to help cover this project. Now, not saying we have to wait 5 years, because we can, you know, and this is the second time in the city's history that we've encumbered. And we encumbered for some street lighting on Highway 53 as part of our cost share. This is a very common practice in other cities. So if we want to try and do a small MSA project next year, you know, we'll be down to 4 years, right? So each year we're allowed to encumber every year for a total of 5 years.
Just out of curiosity, when we encumbered for the 53 project for the lighting, was how many years did we encumber on that? Was
I
that
believe
2?
it was 1 year.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Any questions for the Public Works Director, please?
I got a question. Does that 5 years now include the 2 years that we haven't used it, or is that 5 years beyond
So
that?
we're gonna collect, or we're gonna use up to $1.9 million. So we get the 2 years that we haven't spent anything. So we've got that in the bank, and then we're gonna borrow ahead
Number
5
5
years.
more.
So
Okay.
5 years is 1.2, and the 2 years that we have in there, 623,527. So we're
We'll be using 7 years of state aid
Yes.
money, but encumbering 5.
Yep.
Okay.
And originally, we had talked about 1.2, but we were going to try and pull this project off in 21 and 22. So.
All right.
Are you worried, I mean, what if we need something else, or you can't do this again, or, you know what I mean?
So our municipal state aid roads are planned out far enough in advance. If we can put city money into MSA roads, okay? So last week I talked about 12th Street, and 12th Street, the water main is shot. We need to do something with that. In the event that we decide to do something with 12th Street, even though it's an MSA, we could use our city money to go towards 12th Street and still keep it an MSA road, if that answers your question. The MSA money you get is based on projects. It's not like you have a failing chunk of curb, you submit money to the municipal, we have to submit the plans, it's a long process.
Okay.
We have to submit plans at a certain time, give them a certain amount of, because they're built to a different standards. We have to build it to MnDOT standards, whereas our city streets aren't quite held to that same standard. We can put, smaller curb and that type of stuff in, but we have to meet the MnDOT standard when we do the MSA. So they approve all of the construction plans before we can finalize everything. So it's project-based, not need-based if something was to fail, if that makes sense. Okay. Another thing that we do is our allotment every year for maintenance on state highways. Okay, all come through this as well. So they give us actually $400 and some thousand a year, but the maintenance money they give us comes off of that. Okay, so it's $380,000 that we can use towards MSA projects.
As a follow-up to what Councilor Wagner just asked, so if we were to do an MSA road but not encumber the money or get the money from the state to do it, do we still have to build to the state standards or, okay?
Yep. So 15th Street in 2020 was an MSA road that we did not submit to MnDOT. We had it approved by MnDOT. It was built to their standards. But I went back all the way to 1994 and closed out. We had a bunch of MSA projects that were never finalized. So if the bid price is there and you didn't submit for payment to MSA for $50,000, that sits in your account until you submit the final paperwork. I went back all the way to 1994, submitted and closed out every project up to 14th Avenue. Because when I took over, our MSA account in the book showed that we were in the negative about $400,000. By the time I was done, we had like $1.2 million. That's how much money was sitting out there in projects over the years. So I never used any MSA money. I didn't use a yearly allotment. Basically, I finaled out projects, put that in our account, and was able to pay for 15th Street. That's where, when we had talked about lifting the mileage off of 15th Street and putting it on another road, that's how we can do that. So if we put this road and we make it an MSA, if we decide to pull the mileage off this and put it someplace else, we end up paying a fine to the state, depending on how old the road is. So it doesn't, you may have to go 15, 20 years without paying a penalty to be able to pull the mileage off and put it on another road. So.
Okay. Any other question? Any other question? All right, so Chair would entertain a motion to adopt the resolution approving.
Make that motion.
All right, we have a motion by Councilor Holden,
I'll second.
second by Councilor Kaler. Discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye.
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 I'll vote yes, motion carries 5-0. And before I adjourn, just again, the reason that we had this meeting and called a special meeting to do this is just for timing so that we can get the project started sooner than later. And with that being said, this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ted.
Thanks, Ted.